The digestive system, the structure and the function of the upper gastrointestinal tract. In the previous lesson, the digestive system is introduced as a group of organs that work together to break the food down mechanically and chemically to its basic elements, to feed the entire body and to provide it with the energy. This video will focus on some parts of these organs, which represent the upper gastrointestinal tract. These organs include the mouth, pharynx, esophagus, and stomach, in addition to some parts of the accessory organs such as the teeth, tongue, and salivary glands. Mouth. When we ingest food, we take the food through the mouth. The mouth is the opening part of the digestive tube that connects the internal environment to the external environment. Food is partially processed and digested mechanically and chemically in the oral cavity. Mechanical process happens with the assistance of the jaw, tongue, and teeth. The movement of the jaw and the tongue helps to moisten the food by saliva. There are 3 sets of salivary glands surrounding the mouth. The salivary glands produce a watery secretion known as saliva. Saliva helps to moisten and lubricate food as it passes through the mouth, pharynx, and esophagus. Then, the tongue pushes food towards the pharynx in a process called swallowing. The different kinds of teeth are responsible for chewing, cutting, tearing, and grinding food into small pieces, enabling it to be mixed with saliva and making it easier to swallow. The chemical digestion in the mouth. Chemical digestion is carried out by amylase enzyme, which is found in saliva. Amylase enzyme is responsible for breaking down the carbohydrates or polysaccharides into glucose subunits, which is called disaccharides. Pharynx. The pharynx or throat is responsible for passing the masses of chewed food from the mouth to the esophagus. The pharynx is also the entrance to the respiratory tract, as air passes from the nasal cavity through the pharynx on its way to the larynx and finally to the lungs. Therefore, it is possible that food passes and gets stuck in the airway, causing you to choke. To avoid choking hazards, pharynx contains a flap of tissue known as the epiglottis that acts as a switch to direct food to the esophagus and air to the larynx. Esophagus. The esophagus is a muscular tube connecting the pharynx to the stomach. It is 22 to 25 centimeters long. There is a muscular ring called esophageal sphincter or cardiac sphincter between the esophagus and the stomach. When this sphincter relaxes, it allows food to pass through the opening into the stomach, and when it contracts, it closes the entrance to the stomach. By this way, the stomach can keep its contents from leaking back into the esophagus or mouth. The transportation of food along the esophagus and the entire digestive tract occurs by the rhythmic waves of muscle contraction called peristalsis. Peristalsis is a series of sequential contraction and relaxation of muscles. This kind of movement generates waves that push and force food bolus to travel through the esophagus towards the stomach. Stomach. The stomach is a muscular, hollow, and somewhat J-shaped sac that is located on the left side of the abdominal cavity. The major three functions of this organ are to store food, to secrete acid and enzymes to continue the digestion of food that began in the mouth, and to mix them all together. Food is stored and processed within the stomach for 3 to 5 hours so that the body has time to digest large meals properly. Stomach can accommodate large meals because it is a flexible and expandable organ. The smooth muscle of its wall enables the stomach to stretch to hold several liters of food. The stomach can expand to hold up to 4 liters, while the volume when it's empty is less than 1 liter. The stomach wall has 3 layers of smooth muscle that contract in different directions. The coordinated contractions of the 3 layers compress the content of the stomach, resulting in mixing the food with the secreted juices and breaking it down into smaller fragments. This contraction is a form of mechanical breakdown which prepare the food for the chemical digestion. Breaking the food down into small pieces increases the surface area for the chemicals to act on it. The inner lining of the stomach consists of millions of gastric glands that secrete gastric fluid. Gastric fluid assists the chemical digestion of protein. It includes mucus, which protects the wall of the stomach from self-digestion by hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid, this acid kills most of the bacteria that comes along with the food and drinks. Enzymes, such as pepsinogen, which is inactive form of pepsin. To activate this enzyme, hydrochloric acid breaks the pepsinogen to form pepsin that is essential in digesting protein in food. The hydrochloric acid increases the acidity of the stomach contents to a pH 2 or less. This medium is proper for the pepsin enzyme that works only in a highly acidic environment to convert proteins into smaller nutrients called polypeptides. Mixing the food with the gastric secretions in the stomach produces a soapy mixture called chyme. Chyme is strongly acidic as a result of the secretions of the hydrochloric acid. When the digestion is completed in the stomach, the muscle contractions push chyme through the pyloric sphincter to the first part of the small intestine called the duodenum.